Welcome to the first lesson of the C# Programming Fundamentals course. In this lesson, we will guide you through the process of setting up your development environment by downloading and installing Visual Studio Community Edition and the .NET SDK. This setup is essential for developing C# applications effectively. Don't worry if this feels new at first. This section covers what's Visual Studio. Visual Studio is a powerful integrated development environment, IDE, from Microsoft that provides developers with tools to create applications for various platforms, including web, mobile, and desktop. The Community Edition is free for individual developers, open source projects, academic research, education, and small professional teams. Now, what's the .NET SDK? The .NET SDK, Software Development Kit, is a collection of libraries, tools, and documentation that you need to develop applications using .NET technologies, including C#. The SDK includes the command line tools and compilers necessary for building .NET applications. Let's move on to downloading Visual Studio Community Edition. To download Visual Studio Community Edition, follow these steps. First, visit the official Visual Studio website, https://visualstudio, microsoft.com/versus/community. Next, click on the download button for the Community Edition. Finally, once the installer is downloaded, locate the file, usually in your Downloads folder, and double-click it to start the installation process. This section covers installing Visual Studio Community Edition. After launching the installer, you will be presented with several installation options. Follow these steps to complete the installation. First, select the workloads you want to install. For C# development, choose the .NET Desktop Development workload. This will include the necessary components for building Windows applications using C#. Next, you can also select additional workloads based on your interests, such as ASP.NET and web development if you plan to work on web applications. Finally, click on the Install button. The installer will download and install the selected components. This process may take some time depending on your internet speed. Now, downloading and installing the .NET SDK. The .NET SDK is often included with the Visual Studio installation. However, if you need to install or update it separately, follow these steps. First, go to the official .NET download page, https://.net, microsoft.com/download/.net. Next, choose the latest version of the .NET SDK available. Click on the appropriate download link for your operating system. Then, after downloading, locate the installer file and double-click to run it. Finally, follow the installation wizard prompts to complete the installation. Next, verifying your installation. Once you have installed Visual Studio and the .NET SDK, it's important to verify that everything is set up correctly. You can do this by checking the version of the .NET SDK installed. Open a command prompt or terminal and enter the following command. See the example on this slide. Pause if you want to study the details. If the installation was successful, this command will return the version number of the .NET SDK. In this lesson, we covered the steps to download and install Visual Studio Community Edition and the .NET SDK. We explored what Visual Studio is and the purpose of the .NET SDK. You now have the necessary tools to begin your journey into C# programming. Go ahead and work through this exercise. First, install Visual Studio Community Edition with the .NET Desktop Development workload. Also, install the latest .NET SDK separately and verify the installation using the command line. Finally, create a simple console application in Visual Studio and run it to ensure everything is working correctly.